All right, everyone, welcome. Thank you for being with us. Sometimes we start singing a song during the week, you can't stop. And that's what the story is with this song. I sang it last night, sang it this morning, I'm gonna sing it again tonight. Just think it's gonna help us a lot. This is one of the nigunim from the album we did for Rav Weinberger, of the nigunim of Michal Shapiro. What we all want and need. Don't feel so far from your home, it's not such a long journey. The path is inside of you, it waits but don't wait too long. The mind so far from the heart, they think and act as strangers. Make peace and be as one, love and serve the one King. Don't be afraid, His love surrounds you. Though you may feel alone, and within a soft voice calls you, return home. Da 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 da, ay da 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 do do, do 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 do, ay da da da, ay da da, ay da da do do, ay da 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 da, do 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 do, ay da 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 do 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 do. Don't be afraid, His love surrounds you. Though you may feel alone, and within a soft voice calls you, return home. And on the way back home, the soul rejoices deeply. Creation sings in joy as she returns to harmony. When light is revealed in those precious treasures, then sorrow has no place and joy abounds forever. Don't be afraid, His love surrounds you. Though you may feel alone, and within a soft voice calls you, return home. Don't be afraid, eternal. This is a nigun that I had the spurs of writing in Uman a few years ago. Dee da 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 da, oi da 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 da, da 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 da, oi da da da, I da 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 da, oi da da da, oi da 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 da, da 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 da, oi da da da, I da 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 da. I da da da, I da da dee da dee, da 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 da, I da da da, I da da dee da dee, dee da da da, I da da dee da dee, da 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 da, I da da dee, I da da dee da da. Dee da dee da dee da dee da dee do 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 do. Ay da dee da dee do 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 do. Ay da da dum dum da 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 dum dum da da da. Ay da 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 da. Ay da 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 dee da da dee da da. Ay da da dee da dee da dee 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 do do. Ay da 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 da. Ay da da dee da da dum dum da da dee dum da da da. Ay da 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 da. Ay da 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 dee da 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 dee da da. Da 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 da, I da 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 da, da 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 da, I da da da, I da 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 da, da 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 da, I da 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 da, da 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 da, I da da da, I da 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 da. Dee da 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 da, ay da 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 da, da 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 da, ay da da da, ay 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 ay, da 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 da, ay da 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 da, da 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 da, ay da 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 da. Alright, חבר'ה, שבוע טוב. שבוע טוב, בשורות טובות. Only good news to everyone, בעזרת השם. ברוך אתה אדינו אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. It's days like this, it's times like this that we're very real, raw, organic, brutally honest about what we need in life, what our oxygen is, what our lifelines really are. And it's time to give such thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have the Torahs of the Tzaddikim, that we have the teachings of the Nachal Novea Mekor Chochma, of Reb Nachman Tzchus Yagen Aleinu. We have the Torahs of the Piasetzner Rebbe Tzchus Yagen Aleinu. Tomorrow night we're going to be doing a whole piece from Rav Kook, Ma'amar HaPachad, the Ma'amar we did a few years ago. We have to do Chazara on very, very important Ma'amar about fear, anxiety, stress, all the tires that are mamish meant for you and I. That one of the most powerful parts of learning these Torahs is that it's clear as daylight. When Reb Nachman said what he said that we're going to learn tonight, when he said this 212 years ago, 200 mashu kazeh, he had you and I in mind. And we say that all the time. Sometimes it sounds cute and sweet. Sometimes it makes us feel good. And sometimes it's as emes as us using Zoom. It's as emes as mamash us using Zoom. It's the simple clarity. What I wanted to touch upon tonight, and we have to stop a few minutes before 9, but we'll try to get as much as we can in, is a very, very, very important Torah from Reb Nachman. But I feel that when we inhale it and we let it just show up in our lives, then we'll see that a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstandings, and a lot of confusion will be settled. Now that's always exciting. If we can get rid of some confusion, I'll take it, whatever level it is. But when it comes to confusing reality with what's real versus what's not real, those are the times we want to say, like, let's pay mamish extra attention to. Let's pay extra attention. This is not so pashut. This is very, very important. The following teaching we're going to be learning tonight has to do with what's reality? Is what I'm feeling real? Is my emunah real? How do I know what reality really is? How much should I base reality on my feeling and my emotions? And how much do I have to feel my emunah in order for that to be a reality? The teaching we're doing tonight is the 48th teaching in the second piece in Likutein La'aran, Torah Memchet. It's known in Breslover circles as the Rebbe's letter. I'm going to pull up the text right now. Well, not me, but my faithful right hand, Shimon. And we're going to be... Sorry about that. And we're going to be addressing this. Rabbi Nachman is going to be addressing this in a way that only Rabbi Nachman can. Now I see that there was one thing that I did a highlight on my version and you don't have. So therefore, it's very important tonight that you stick with me through each word that we learn, more than usual. Because tonight, Rabbi Nachman is going to be repeating something over and over again, but it's lito'elet. It's definitely something that we want. We want to get this inyan drilled into us, and we want to make sure that we don't miss out on any single word from the Rebbe's teaching. Before we go inside the words, unfortunately the names of people to daven for keep on just pouring in. So if you can have in mind one of our dear friends from our Keilah, Shira Rosenberg, we got to daven for both of her parents, her Ima and her Abba, that are in Farakaway. Her Abba, sweet Rabbi Chill, his name is Reb Shaul Ze'ev ben Devora, and her ima's name is Tzivia Daba Bas Yenta. To please have those names in mind. Very, very important. B'tzvat Hashem, we'll hear good news. And whenever we daven for someone, we take upon ourselves Shmira Yetera, that we're going to even guard ourselves even more in the schus of their refuah shlema. So, did you ever feel that once you took upon yourself something and you showed Hashem, here I am, I'm showing up, I'm getting closer, I'm doing this, and Hashem is saying, okay, that's nice that you have that in mind, but yalla, tchafef, meaning go away. Did you ever sense those moments of, are you kidding me? Did you see what I'm doing in order to get closer to you? Why are you not making me feel that it's working, God? You saw what I gave up in order to keep Shabbos? You saw the wardrobe I gave up to be at Tznius Bas Yisrael? You're not going to make life better for me? You're not going to make it less complicated for me? You know, that relationship, that friendship, that was just, it was bad. And I gave it up, but it was also very heavy for me to let go of. You're not going to come to me and let me know how proud you are of me and come closer, my kind. How could it be? How could it be? So as you see, and this is a teaching, this is the beginning we've seen in other places too. The first paragraph, כשאדם נכנס בעבודת Hashem. When a person goes into עבודת Hashem, אזי הדרך שמראים לו התרחקות. What they show him is actually distancing. נדמה לו שמרחיקין אותו מלמעלה. It appears to him, and this is a key word. I want you to notice how many times Rabbi Nachman uses this word nidme. Nidme means it seems like, or it appears to be, that they are pushing him away from Shemayim and saying, we're not interested in your Avodat Hashem. Ve'en manichin oto klal likanes la'avodat Hashem. And they don't allow him to go into Avodat Hashem at all. So first of all, I wanted to understand, what does it mean when Rabbi Nachman says, when a person goes into Avodat Hashem? Is he just talking about a Baal Tshuva, when a person becomes frum? So, our go-to guru for all these inyanim to understand basic concepts in the teachings of Rabbi Nachman has always been Reb Chaim Kramer. I wish I had the footnote on me. I don't have it on me. The sefer is upstairs. It's okay. But I saw before, and Reb Chaim, how he explains it is as follows. You know what it means to go into Avodat Hashem? It's that moment in your life when you realize that having a relationship with Hashem is way more than Shachar, Mincha, and Mariv if you're a man, and way more than just keeping a kosher kitchen and Taras HaMishpacha if you're a woman. It's that it's my whole life is one big relationship. And that happens for different people at different stages in their life. Sometimes it happens to us when we're young and we're on fire. Sometimes it happens to us when we're grandparents. But whenever it is that I realize, certain things just don't go anymore because it doesn't match with being an Eved Hashem. Just doesn't match. Certain jokes just don't flow anymore. Certain shows that I watch, I just can't watch them anymore. Not because I feel fake, it's just that it just doesn't match. My Avodat Hashem is, I wouldn't watch this, I wouldn't look like this, I wouldn't act like this if he was here, if that holy person was here. It's when this God consciousness becomes so much more than just moments in the day. So Reb Chaim Kramer says that's the moment when a person goes into Avodas Hashem. It's that when he realizes, when he or she realizes that being in a relationship with God is my all. It's my everything in my life. En makom shepanui mimeno. There's no place void of sensing the feeling that relationship. Sometimes people feel like, as mothers, I'm sure, and Be'ez Hashem, those of you that aren't mothers yet, you should be mothers to healthy, beautiful, healthy, and holy children. As mothers, I'm sure you can understand, well, besides the one or two men that happen to be in the shir, but everyone else, yeah. the concept of being a mommy, of being an ima. A real mama is always a mom, whether she's out with her friends, whether she's exercising, whether she's shopping, everything, when she's learning, when she's working, everything about her is being an ima. It's not that, and certain things that wouldn't be proper for an ima, you just can't do anymore. So it's that same instance, the same thing happens when you have these moments of realizing, wow, I'm an Eved Hashem. This is what my life is all about. So Reb Nachman says, at that moment, you would think that they look it down in Shemayim and be like, wow, kol hakavod, come. But Reb Nachman says, actually the opposite appears to you. It appears to you that they're saying, go away. But if you look at the second word in the second line, ube'emet, kol hitrakut, hurak kulo hitkarvut. But really, and we're going to crack this code tonight, Bezrat Hashem, that thing which appears to you as Hashem saying, go away, is really his way of telling you, I want you to really be close. That distancing is real emes hitkarvut. It's actually real closeness that is taking place. But it's really being done beneath the surface. It's being done in such a deep way. It's being done, mamish, the Gemara says, Eina bracha shora ela min davar samui min ha'ayin. Blessings only reside in a place that are hidden from the eye. It's not something you can see at all. It's happening beneath the surface. It's happening in the kishkas, this hitkarvut. So Reb Nachman continues and he says, V'tzarich hitchaskut gadol me'od livli dipol beda'ato. A person needs tremendous strengthening, very much, that he, God forbid, should not fall in da'at chas v'sholom. כשרואה שעוברים כמה וכמה ימים ושנים. When a person realizes, oh my God, I've been in this trip for a few, he says, days and years, so long already that I am so-called this self-labeled Eved Hashem. Sorry, let me turn that off. It's been so long already that I'm in this category of being an Eved Hashem. Like in the third line, Kama v'chama yamim v'shanim shehu mitiyageh b'igiyot gdolot. I toil so hard with tremendous mesirut nefesh b'shvil avodat Hashem ve'adayin hu rachok me'od. And I'm still so far. How could this be? Ve'lo hitchil klal lichnos l'sharei ha'kedusha. And a person feels, I haven't even begun to enter into the gates of holiness. Fourth line, Ki ro'eh atzmo shehu maleh adayin aviyut v'gashmiyut. A person sees in themselves that they are still filled with aviyut. Aveh means thickness. It's alluding towards gashmiyut, materialistic matters. They hear hurim, contemplations, bilbulim gdolim. I'm still so confused. I can't believe it. I've adapted the world of halacha, the world of Torah, the world of hisbodedus, all the deep stuff. I've gone to Uman 30 times. It's like I remember when I was about 19 or 20, a friend of mine in LA had me go with him to, what was it called? The Landmark Forum. I don't know if how many of you heard of the Landmark Forum. This I'm not sure what to call it exactly, but I remember one of the comments that someone had there. It was by the hotels by the airport in LA, in the Westin or something. And obviously the place is like 50% Yidden. My buddy Stewie Wax gave me tons of Reb Nachman booklets to give out to everyone at this place because we knew there were a bunch of Yidden there. But what certain people kept on raising their hand and saying, the guy's name was Richard, said, Richard, I don't understand something. The guy that was guiding the whole course is saying, Richard, I don't understand. I've been here already 4 times. I've done everything. Why isn't it working? So lehavdil elef alfei havdalas, we have that voice so often when things don't seem to feel nidmeh, it doesn't appear to be working. things don't appear to be working. It seems that I haven't even entered into anything. There's a song of Aviatar Banai, it's called Tel Aviv. He says in there, he says, I probably haven't really changed for real. He's talking about his own personal tshuva. He says, people have these moments in life, they're like, I put on the levush, I put on the garments, I talk the talk. I even have a Hasidic accent when I say certain words like Gewalt. I know how to sound like I'm part of the Indian, but it hasn't really done anything. Haven't even, like Reb Nachman says, Lo itchalti klal lichnos l'sharei hakdusha. I haven't even gone into the gates. I'm still filled with these bilbulim. Middle of the fourth line, B'chol ma shehu rotze la'asot בעבודת Hashem, איזה דבר שבקדושה, אין מניחין אותו. And whenever I want to do something holy, they don't let me. They don't let me. V'nidme lo, that word again, nidme, and it appears to him, to her, כאילו אין השם יתברך מסתכל עליו כלל, ואין רוצה כלל בעבודתו. It seems that God is just not interested in me. That's such a painful place to be in. And I'm sure, I don't know about every one of you, but many of us that are learning here in this year has felt that or is feeling that now. You're not interested in what I want to do. I'm doing it because I'm getting the check. I'm making sure I'm not sinning, but you're not really interested in what I bring to the table. That's what it says. Nidmelo. Mechamat shehu ro'eh shehu tzo'ek bechol pam. I see I'm screaming more and more. Mitchanen, I'm begging you, Ribbon Shlomo. Umitpalel lefanav yitbarach shi'azrel ba'avodato. And I'm asking you, can you please help me? Help me be a better Jew. V'af al pichen. Help me feel that I'm closer. V'af al pichen. And nonetheless, adayin hu rachok me'od me'od. And nonetheless, you're still very, very far. So Reb Nachman uses the word again, al ken nidmelo. It appears to him, כאילו אין Hashem יתברך מסתכל עליו כלל. You have that moment that God is looking at everyone, but he's not looking at me. He's noticing everyone's davening. He's noticing everyone's ishtadlus, but he's not noticing mine. ואין פונה אליו כלל, כי הוא יתברך אין רוצה בו כלל. Because why? Like we said before, ריבונו של עולם, my bag is different. You're not interested. And Nachman says, you're going to go through this. You are going to go through this. As an Eved Hashem, as someone that has come to that place of Yiddishkeit is so much more than these moments of feeling close and that you want much more. Yiddishkeit is much more than just a weekly shir. It's every day. It's all day. And you want that. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel they're telling you go away. You're actually going to go through this. But if Nachman says, so I'm preparing you, even if you haven't felt it yet, or if you felt it in the past, let me just tell you what this is all about. So he already told us what it's all about. He told us this whole hitterachkut, this whole pushing me away, be'emes, is really hitkarvut, is really bringing me closer and closer, but it's beneath the surface. And now, Chavra, we're going to go beneath the surface and try and attempt to understand how and why it works like this and how to notice it, how to be aware that it works like this. So the Rebbe continues, Kol Eile. Hen al kol Eile. וכיוצא בזה. צריך התחזקות גדול לחזק עצמו מאוד מאוד. You need to strengthen yourself tremendously, דווקא in times like this. ולבלי להסתכל על כל זה כלל. And don't get blinded by what your emotions are telling you to feel. And we're going to get back to this. כי באמת כל ההתרחקות הוא רק כולו התקרבות כנ"ל, because like we said before, this distancing was only to bring you closer. וכל הנ"ל and everything that we just described in the previous paragraph, Rebbe Nachman says, Avar al kol tzadikim. He says, all the tzadikim that we know about, all the stories, everyone, Rabbi Akiva, B'Shem Bar Yochai, Moshe Rabbeinu, all the tzaddikim. Listen, Moshe Rabbeinu felt he's the best example. He goes out, he becomes an Eved Hashem, he carries out Hashem's shlichut in the world, and he goes and tells Paro, send the Yidden out of Mitzrayim, and Moshe Rabbeinu comes back to Hashem and says, Lama hareot la'am hazeh. I thought this was going to bring us closer. This is bringing us further and further away. Moshe Rabbeinu had to go through this. Rabbi Nachman is saying about himself, I had to go through this. Rabbi Nachman is saying, my Zelta Zaidi, my great-grandfather, the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, he had to go through this. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, the Arizal, the Ramchal, all the tzaddikim and the tzadkaniyos, they each had to go through this, like we see, like he says in the second line in the second paragraph, in the middle, Kasher shamanu mipihem befirush. We heard from their mouths, befirush, literally, shenidme lehem, she'Hashem yitbarach en mistakel upone lehem klal. They themselves, the people that we now view as righteous, holy tzaddikim, that probably were always close, there was a certain shlav in their, leading up to their Rebbehood, to their righteousness, where they also had to go through this inyan, where they also had to experience what we just described right now. They also felt there are moments, Ribono Shel Olam, you know, you're just not looking at me. I once listened to an interview with Reb Shlomo where he said that there was a time in his life where he felt that God could care less about him, and that he wanted to shave off his beard and go and work in a diner in Dallas. That's what he said. There are moments like this in our lives where it seems like this, but there's something going on. There's something going on. So again, Hashem, in the second line, second paragraph, Hashem yitbarach en mistakel ufone aleim klal mechamat shira'u שזה זמן רב שהם מבקשים ויגעים ועושים ועובדים עבודת השם יתברך, ועדיין הם רחוקים מאוד מאוד. But these tzaddikim also went through these times in life, and they felt so far. ואילו, and had they not, ואילו לא היו מחזקים עצמם מאוד לבלי להסתכל על זה, and if they didn't hold on to themselves strong to make sure, don't look at this, don't read into this too much, היו נשארים במקומם הראשון, they would have stayed in their first initial place, ולא היו זוכים למה שזכו. And they would not have merited what they ended up meriting. So Rabbi Nachman didn't explain yet anything. It's too much, but he said to us something very important in this paragraph. Tzaddikim had to go through this too. It's some kind of a refinement process that you must go through in this world of growing close to Hashem. And what's this refinement what does it look like on the outside? Hashem saying, I'm not interested. But under the surface, Hashem is saying, come closer, more. I really want you to come closer. But I want you to know what it means to be close to me. I want you to know what it means to be close to me. Now, this teaching is called the Rebbe's letter because Rabbi Nachman didn't really address people in teachings. It was more, a manuscript. Reb Nassim mainly would write down what he had heard in the Shir. But sometimes the way it came down was that Rabbi Nachman is mamish addressing you, like he's writing a letter to someone. And as you look in the third paragraph, he says like this, V'haklal, ahuvi, achi, my beloved brother, but I'm sure he included you guys too. V'haklal, ahuvi, achi, chazak ve'ematz me'od, strengthen yourself. Fill yourself with courage tremendously. Ve'echoz atzmecha bechol akochot. Grab onto yourself with all the strength that you have, lisha'er kayam ba'avodatcha, to hold on to where you're holding in your avodat Hashem. Ve'al tachush. Don't be nervous. Al tistakel klal al kol hanal. Don't look at all of the above. Don't look at it. Okayotze bazeh. don't make what appears to you to be your reality. אם אתה רחוק מאוד מאוד ממנו יתברך, ונדמה לך שאתה פוגם בכל שעה ממש נגדו יתברך, if you're feeling that you're very, very far and it seems to you that you're constantly blemishing against God every single second, תדע, שאיש כזה שהוא מגושם כל כך, if you're feeling that every single action of yours is turning you further and further away from God, you have to know, like he says, כל תנועה ותנועה שהוא מנתק עצמו מעט מעט מן גשמיותו. Then with every single movement towards God, you're disconnecting yourself more and more, little by little, from your gashmius. Uponeh LaHashem yitbarach, and all you do is turn to God a little bit. Rebbe Nachman says, Hi gdola v'yikara me'od me'od. This is something so valuable. This is something Rabbi Nachman has said many times. Now we're jumping ahead here. I actually want to go back a little bit. We're going to finish the paragraph, but we're jumping ahead because we're setting the stage for a little bit later on. Rabbi Nachman basically just told us right now that if you're a person that is so convinced that everything you're doing brings you further and further away, then if you just focus on one nikuda of good, and then one nikuda of good, please give attention to those small movements towards Hashem because they're huge. You know, if you're, the difference, I heard this from Rebbe Shlomo, the difference between going back, doing tshuva, going back to the right place on a spiritual level and on a physical level is that if I'm in, I don't know, if I'm in New York and I am thinking that I'm going to Eretz Yisrael, but I get on the plane and the plane starts traveling westbound, then it doesn't matter if I turn my physical location on a plane, the plane is taking me westbound. I can only start going back to the right place once I land, get off on the West Coast, turn around and start moving towards flying the other way. But you know how it starts when it comes to Avodat Hashem? All it is just this, look. That's all it is. It's just a movement. It's just tilting my head a certain direction. And that little tilting of a head towards Hashem is huge. It's tremendous. And you must give it chashivut. Like Rebbe Nachman says, third from the bottom line, ואפילו נקודה קטנה מאוד שהוא נעתק מגשמיותו אליו יתברך, הוא רץ בזה כמה וכמה אלפים פרסאות בעולמות עליונים. In the higher worlds, small movements towards Hashem are like jumping galaxies. כאשר תבין היטב, and you'll understand this clearly, מן המעשה של הצדיק שהתגבר עליו מאוד העצבות, by the tzaddik, the story that Rabbi Nachman has in Rabbi Nachman's stories, that the tzaddik who was overcome by melancholy and by depression, כמובן אצלנו בשיחות שבסוף הספר סיפורי מעשיות. Now, I prepared that for us to look inside, but it's very, very important that we actually, before we get there, that we spend some time trying to understand what Rabbi Nachman told us. Rabbi Nachman told us something that is of utmost importance. Rabbi Nachman said that I want you to know what it really feels like to be close to me. That was what Rabbi Nachman said. He said that a person has to know that this hitrakut, don't pay attention to it so much. I need you to go through it. I need you to go through it because something that happens to us all the time, like I mentioned at the beginning of the shir, is that we get confused between reality. Our reality gets confused between our emotion and our emunah. You know, if I only had emunah based on my feelings, I'd be a wreck. I'd be an emotional wreck. I'd be a completely unstable person. I'd be someone that no one would be able to really, relate to me on any level. I'd be a complete mess. What Rabbi Nachman is telling us is that we want to figure out a way for you to really be close. So what do I have to do, Rabbi Nachman says, in the name of God, so to speak? Each of you are going to wonder, like, what happens if I don't feel the mitzvahs that I'm doing? So emunah is, I believe that the mitzvah that I keep brings me close to Hashem. But I don't feel it. So what's the reality, right? What's real? We want to know what's real. But a yesod in our emunah is that when I daven, whether I was answered or not, is irrelevant to the fact that I just got closer to Hashem. I want to repeat that line again. An ikaron of our emunah, of principle, of foundation in our emunah, is that when I did a mitzvah, I believe that mitzvahs bring me closer to Hashem, whether I feel it or I don't feel it. When I feel it, it's great, but when I don't feel it, what do I hold on to? How does something bring me closer to Hashem if I don't feel it? So Rabbi Nachman says you have to be very clear. There's two different things going on in our lives. There are feelings, and then there's emunah. And again, what's the real reality? We don't know. Like, for instance, those of us are privileged to live in Eretz Yisrael, right? We're living in Eretz Yisrael. It's such an amazing thing. What a zchut we have to be living here. You would think, once I gave up my comfortable life in Chutz La'aretz and I come here, Hashem, you would be totally just like, oh, you're going to feel it all now. Everything's going to feel always so good and so close to me. So I'm the last person to try to, discourage someone from coming to Eretz Yisrael. But let me tell you, for those of you that aren't here yet, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. On a feeling level, of course, sometimes I feel it much more, but it is not a given. In fact, sometimes the hitrakut I feel after I came here, oh my gosh, it hurts me so much more than the hitrakut I feel when I'm not here. But I'm supposed to feel, I'm doing a mitzvah in Eretz Yisrael. I'm davening. I think about this all the time. Where my wife and I are sitting right now could very, very well be a spot on the land where Avram, Yitzchak, or Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah walked. It probably is. Boaz and Ruth, this direction. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, this direction. Could very well be. Shouldn't it feel like just insanely amazing and perfectly good? It should, right? Kivyachol. That should be the mitziyut. But it's not my reality. So what's really happening? Also, when a person does an avera, it should be that when I do an avera, I should feel right away how awful and how much I'm creating such bad energy in the world. But you don't live like that. So Rabbi Nachman says a person has to work with emunah, because if you work with feelings, you're done. You're a smartut. You have to make your emunah the rock upon which you put everything, so that what? When things appear in your life, when there's a nidmelecha, when there's all the nidmelechas in the world that make it seem to you like you're really going further and further, you're saying, what do you mean? I believe that these decisions in life bring me closer to God. If you can get through that storm and hold on to that rock of emunah, then no emotion in the world could detach you from your root. No wind, no matter how wild the wind is, comes blowing your way, it doesn't blow you off from the shorish of the tree. That's yesod. That's what a foundation is. You see, Reb Nachman says basically that if there was Reb Nachman says this, if there was an actual te'um based on how I felt and what actually happens in the higher worlds, then I wouldn't have bechira. I would have no bechira left in me. Meaning if someone, like Reb Nachman says, if someone actually gave tzedakah, and while they gave tzedakah, he suddenly saw a band of angels coming around, dancing around him, putting ktarim on him, then he wouldn't be in this world anymore. That whole thing of bechira would be done. Also with an avera. If I was aware as to how much I'm damaging my soul, while I'm doing something bad, then Bechira would be taken from me on the other way. But tzaddikim, and Reb Nachman alluded to this over here, tzaddikim feel, what they feel is that they've been able to bring a feeling to the real reality. They actually feel what is actually happening. That's why their simcha is so much more intense and their pain is so much more intense. We can't feel that reality yet, but they're able to feel that reality. But wow, because they went through something called the refinement period that we spoke about right now. They went through this period where Hashem said to them, how do you deal when emotions come and freak you out? Is your emunah stronger than your emotions? Has to be. Because if not, then every little amalek along the way comes and just blows you off and you're done. You're absolutely done. It's like Shana Aleph, Shana Rishona of marriage. When you think you're getting divorced 50,000 times because of just, little normal arguments that touch upon emotions. So we see, Chaveh, that what Rabbi Nachman was preparing us over here was for something that you and I go through all the time, because really, we constantly feel that the more closer I'm getting, the more they're telling me to go away. But that's only because the Ribbono Shel Olam is desiring for us to taste real closeness. And real closeness is so much more than being confused. And what we're experiencing now, you and I, in the whole world, is a tremendous hitrachakut. That's what it appears to us. It appears to us in such a real way that after such a hitkarvut that we had on Purim, where it felt so close, I don't know about you, but our Purim here was so refined. It was so, look how we're coming closer, wiping out Amalek and a reenactment of Kabbalah Satorah. And it seems Hashem is saying, Yalla, just get away from me. Look, it didn't work. I'm telling you guys, get away from shul. I don't even want you in shul. I don't want you to come to the place where we meet for dates. Lo otzeh. Get away. That's very heavy. That's very heavy. On a klal level, to experience this hitrachakut, it's very heavy. But I was sharing with the men earlier between Mincha and Maariv, the eyes of the world are on us in Eretz Yisrael. And they're on us as to how do we perceive this hitrachakut. And Rabbi Nachman is saying this, if you can get through this right now and hold on to your emunah, then when this mishigas is over, you will taste closeness on the most real level, and you won't have any doubts as to what's real and what's not real. And that's the wiping out of Amalek. Rav Weinberger said, Corona comes from the same lashon of Amalek asher korcha. Corona is kar, krirut, making you cold. When our emotions come and confuse us, they cool off the fire of emunah that we usually, Be'ezrat Hashem, long for and have. And it's all connected. It's all part of the same mishpacha of Suffolk. So what we saw tonight is the word nidmelo. Rabbi Nachman said about 4 or 5 times that it appears to you. Because Rabbi Nachman never said, God is really distancing himself to you, but he's making it appear to you, because this is where you become an Eved Hashem for real. It is through this paradigm, it is through this tkufa in your life that, that we're going through right now, that I'm certain with every ounce of my emunah, that we're going to look back at this tkufa and label this time as the time when we became Avdei Hashem. It was this tkufa. It was not. There are a lot of great moments we had in our lives, but it was this tkufa that really instilled within us the notion of you are Avdei Hashem. You are mamash, 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 larger than life. And when Mashiach comes, we're going to run to the Rebbe, we're going to run to Reb Nachman, and we're going to say to him, thank you so much for thinking about me. Just thank you so much for thinking about me. Like, that's it. Just thank you for thinking. I'm so thankful. I can't imagine how I understand what's going on right now if you weren't here. The story that Rabbi Nachman mentions over here in this teaching is an amazing, amazing story. I'm going to send it out. I want you to read it. It's a short story. It's about 2 pages. It's one of the shortest stories. Because what Rabbi Nachman wants us to do is that if I remember that the hitrakut is an illusion, and I am staying convinced with my emunah that is the emet, then the slow movements towards coming back to the Ribono Shel Olam are going to feel like massive movements. Tomorrow morning, I take on 1 bracha. Tomorrow morning, I take on 5 minutes of learning. Tomorrow morning, I catch myself 1 time with my child, losing it, and take a breath, b'shem Hashem. That moment becomes a massive achievement. Massive achievement. Rabbi Nachman and the Tzaddikim want us to feel good about Avodat Hashem. That was the whole chiddush of the Baal Shem Tov. You got, feel good about your Avodat Hashem. Feel good about it. And then, when those things happen, you're not wondering anymore, nidmeli, that this was good. No. It's not nidmeli. It's da'at. Ani yodea sheze tov. Ani yodea shema she'asiti ze tov. I know that this is good. This is the gifts. I heard from Rabbi Erez Moshe Doron. He said, these are the gifts that a person receives during concealment. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for ending this whole concealment immediately. Done with it, Bezrat Hashem. But it's a gift that comes during the concealment. It's a gift of saying, I'm one of those that held on. Wow. You see, the way that a Yiddilah who believes in God after Auschwitz knows about God, that knows their dat. Hashem should never test us through anything like that, ever. But the closest we've come to on a global level to having a certain element of fear strike us in a very, very sensitive place is right now. This is our time to shine. This is our time to shine. This is our time to live all these Torahs. This is our time to attach ourselves to the tree of life. This is our time to invite the words of the tzaddik into our hearts. This is our time to speak to Hashem about our emunah, to speak about it. You'll discover so much if you just speak about it. It is pashut meod our time to experience what the world may experience as a hitrakut, to experience inside pnima as a very, very strong hitkarvut, a very strong moment of getting closer and closer. Because we're basically with holy chutzpah looking up to Shemaim and say, Ribono Shel Olam, you could throw all these things my way. You're stuck with me. And then God says, yeah, that's the point. That was the point. You got it. That's what it was all about. But why did it have to be like this? Shh, that's Moshe Rabbeinu saying, Lama hare'ota la'am hazeh. And what does Hashem answer Moshe Rabbeinu? You're in pain because Yidden are in pain? Now I'm going to put you on the front seat of Geula. You're going to be in the first row of the redemption because that's what you were in pain over. Other people's pain. That's what hurts you? Come, I have these chairs. They've been reserved for you right over here in the front. I saved them just for you. So, Chevra, I pray, all of us have the incredible opportunity and privilege to sit in those front row bleachers. Immediately. And if you have enough koach, look into the chat right now. What we added, and we asked each and every one of you, if you can, take a few minutes, write a little Torah based on what we just learned. See what happens, see where you go. And join us tomorrow night if you can, same time. as we delve into Rav Kook's world of caring for us and loving for us. בעזרת השם יתקבלו תפילותינו מעלה מעלה ונשמע ונתבשר בשורות טובות ישועות ונחמות לנו לכל עם ישראל ולכל העולם כולו. Thank you so much, everyone.